Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Herbal Hour. I appreciate that you're here, and I appreciate everybody that's going to be watching the recording. So this class is all recorded. This class is all recorded, and I send it out to everybody. That's Doreen. I'll talk to you after about it. Okay, I'll talk to you separate about the class when this is over. You're welcome. So this class is all recorded and I send it out to everybody. So you'll receive a copy of it. And if you want to watch it again, if you want to send it on to a friend, that's fine. You know, I do these little herbal hours for free. There's no charge. And then for those people that want to get certified, there's a charge to get certified, and there is quizzes. So, you know, if that's something you just want to hang out and watch the herbal hours, that's fine. If you want to get certified, that's fine. Whatever, you know, I'm very flexible. So whatever anybody wants works for me. All right. So tonight I'm going to talk about the intestinal system. And just know that not everything's in here. You know, it's only an hour talk. So hold on a second. It always does this to me. There. Okay, so the intestinal system, and for those that you don't know me, my name's Brenda Generali. I am a naturopath. Hi, Yolanda. And I do teach iridology. I teach for IPA, which is the International Iridology Practitioners Association. I teach levels 1, 2, and 3, and level 3 is advanced. I am a certified herbalist and nutritional counselor. I do own Joyful Living Services. We're a sanctioned school, so by IPA, and there's the website, joyfullivingservices.com, and our email is iridology@netzero.net. There's our phone numbers if you want to reach us. If you have questions about this talk or another talk, if this is the first time you're here, there's a couple of you that haven't been here before, and you want to receive the recordings from the previous classes, send me an email or send me a text to myself. I prefer actually send me an email to iridology@netzero.net. And just say, you know, I was in your class and I've missed the recordings from the previous herbal hours. I'd like to receive copies of those, and I'll be happy to send them to you. There's no charge. And so, you know, I'll be happy to send you those as well. Okay, so you can have those. All right, so I appreciate you being here. And I know that there's other things that we could all be doing, but, you know, I like to teach. I'm always learning, and herbs are always, you know, I've been around herbs for many years. And so I enjoy putting these little PowerPoints together and teaching. So here's my disclaimer. I need to go over it. Joyful Living Services cannot be held liable for any misuse or malpractice of any techniques taught within this webinar, nor for any injury, suffering, or distress caused by students undertaking the techniques discussed. All students must accept that they are wholly responsible for their actions relating to the practice of herbs and must adhere to the relevant laws in their country and state of residence. Students are responsible for ensuring that they have appropriate insurance for practicing in their country and state of residence. Joyful Living Services cannot be held responsible for any advice given by students to members of the public. Students must adhere to their local laws regarding the requirement for registration and/or qualification as an herbalist before suggesting supplements or offering nutritional advice. And we're all from different places, so all different states, and each state has its own laws and rules and regulations, some more than others. California here has more, and you need to learn what those laws are, what you can and can't say in each one of those states. If you're from another country, your laws, your rules are going to be different than ours here in the United States. There's going to be things you can and cannot say that are different than what we can and cannot say. And so, you know, if you start any kind of a practice, you're working with clients, it's really important that you know what your laws are, okay, and what you can and cannot do and can and cannot say, what your limitations are. So let's go ahead and look at the intestinal system. And this is a combination. I had fun putting this together. I had I had several presentations together, and this was a lot of fun. So when the colon cannot function properly, we get an accumulation, okay, accumulation of toxins that can build up in the lymph system, the bloodstream, and the intestines. And this can lead to a myriad of intestinal concerns, including colitis, constipation, hemorrhoids, diverticulitis, Crohn's, IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. I'm sure you've heard of most of those. And other intestinal system concerns, including diarrhea and dehydration. So when I was in San Francisco and I was working with Candida Control Group and I was learning all these things, I heard the word autointoxication. And autointoxication is when you basically make yourself sick. So if the colon is not evacuating properly and you're not releasing those toxins, then it can build up in the lymph system and we can basically make ourselves sick, right? And it's called autointoxication. So here's a nice diagram of the colon. This is all the small intestines in here. And here we have this little thing right here. This is the appendix. This is the cecum, which is on your right side. So you need to turn yourself around. This is the cecum here. This is the ascending colon going up on your right. This is the hepatic flexure here, where it connects from the ascending to the transverse colon. This is the transverse colon that goes right across your belly button here. Over here, we have the left splenic flexure. This is where the transverse colon connects to the descending colon. And then here we have the descending colon, which then connects to the sigmoid flexure and the sigmoid colon, and then to the rectum and out here at the anus. And so this is the intestinal system. Okay, so the intestinal system focuses almost exclusively on the colon, and the high-fat, low-fiber diet, which is common to most Americans, wreaks havoc on this organ. And I found this, the truth about your colon is very interesting. The colon is one of the most important immunological organs in the body. The colon directly affects all areas of your health. And we know this because we have an iridology chart that's like this, that shows all of the parts of the body, just like, you know, your head, your hands, your face, your ears, your feet, okay, your eyes, everything is connected, your teeth, everything is connected. All the parts of your body are connected. Well, the same thing with the colon. All the parts of the colon are all connected, just like your spine. It's all connected to the various organs. Okay, so Dr. Anthony Badzier, who conducted a 25-year study with 5,000 cases, says intestinal toxins are the most important primary and contributory cause of many health problems of the human body. And here we talk about Dr. Jensen, who is the father of iridology in the United States. Dr. Jensen used to say, if you eat 2 to 3 normal size meals a day, you should have 2 to 3 bowel movements a day. He says in his 50 years as a doctor, it has become crystal clear that poor bowel management lies at the root of most people's health problems. And it was interesting because when I got certified in 87 by Dr. Jensen down in Escondido. And when I got certified by him, they were doing a lot of kalimas, lots and lots of kalimas. You could go down there and have kalimas. If you don't know what that is, there's a large kalima board that it's long, you lay on it, attaches to the toilet. And then there is a 5-gallon bucket that they have, with water and herbs or whatever they put in it. And they irrigate the bowel. Okay, so I'm sure most of you have heard of colonics, which is where they use a machine to put the water in and take the water out. But kalimas are a lot more, there's a lot more water and a lot more intense. And so they used to do a lot of that down there. Linda used to handle a lot of that. And for years, they used to do kalimas. So, you buy his books and you see all kinds of pictures of the bowels and everything going on that they show in the bowels. All right, so
where can that intestine thing, the chart on the previous page, where can I get something I can print off like that one?
I can send this to
It
you.
shows all the areas. That's pretty cool.
Hold on.
Yeah, that thing. Where can I get that, Yolanda?
Miss Brenda, I got it from her.
Dang it, I'm gonna have to. Where's my phone? I gotta order stuff while I'm here.
I
Where'd she
showed her,
go?
Miss Brenda.
Where did she go now?
I'm right here. I'm getting my phone so I can go on your site.
It's on
Yeah,
the,
she's gonna order this.
it's under the iridology link where the charts are. It's with all the charts.
Here I come.
Okay, so, you know, this is a little different, right, than the one that's there. But this is still Dr. Jensen's. Let me see, let me center it. This is still Dr. Jensen's. This was edited by Ellen, his daughter-in-law. So this was published by Bernard Jensen International. I don't see the year here. But anyway, and of course it was, you know, Ellen went through and she colored everything, and you can see the different parts of the bowel here. And everything has a number, everything has a length. So I'll put this close here. So you've got, you know, the numbers, you can see the numbers in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And so 1 here is, and then he's got all the links in here. 1 is linked to, if I can find it, down here at the bottom, the eye, and 2 is the upper jaw, and 3 is the nose, and 4 is the tongue, mouth, lower jaw, and 5. Well, this is the small intestines. So basically what they're saying is if there's a problem in the small intestines, then that reflexes to that particular organ. Okay, so that's what they're saying. And from years and years and years of research of the intestines and the bowel, they have learned that when there is an issue, like let's just say right here, let's say here on the descending colon, there's an issue here. Maybe somebody has a polyp, or maybe somebody has diverticulitis, or somebody has colitis, or maybe they have spasms, or they have a stricture, whatever they may have in here. If it's here at this area, it can reflex the kidneys. And so the way to work with the kidneys is to work with the bowel, not just the kidneys, but also the bowel. Okay, and so that's kind of how this whole thing works. So all the parts of the body are connected, just like they are, like I said, just like the teeth. You know, all the teeth are connected to all the body parts. So, you know, your hands with in reflexology with your feet, and the iris, and, you know, the face, and studying the face. Everything is, you know, we're all one piece. Okay, so the main function of the colon are the elimination of waste and reabsorption of water. And the colon is the primary organ for eliminating cellular waste and digestive waste byproducts. A healthy, well-functioning colon is essential for good digestion and the proper absorption of nutrients. The colon, and here you can see this is the entire digestive system here, and this explains it here. The salivary glands make saliva, which have enzymes that start to chemically break down the food. Your tongue mixes saliva with the food that goes here. The teeth and the jaw chew the food into small pieces. Then you've got muscle contraction, push the food down. My esophagus, so it's just the esophagus. The liver makes bile, which helps neutralize stomach acid, digest some vitamins. The bile stored in the gallbladder until it's needed. It's not only stored in the gallbladder, but it's also thickened in the gallbladder, and then it's pumped into the duodenum. Okay, the stomach churns the food, mixes it with strong acid, and turns it into a goopy soup, which is called a chyme. And then the pancreas makes enzymes that break down the food. So it makes pancreatic enzymes that break down your carbs. In the duodenum, bile and enzymes from the pancreas continue to break down the food here. Then it continues down here, it goes in the small intestines. Muscle contractions push the food through the small intestine, which digests and absorbs the nutrients from the food. Then it comes over here, it comes around, the colon absorbs water and electrolytes. It keeps going around and around and around and around, and the rectum passes the leftover waste out into the toilet. Okay, so that's kind of a simple explanation of where does my food go after I eat it. It's kind of just really simple. If you want something more complicated, then I have that, or, you know, you can look it up online too. So okay, so sometimes food and waste matter pass through the colon more quickly than normal due to conditions like the presence of excessive bacteria, emotional stress, some prescription drugs, and people can have diarrhea, which can cause dehydration, okay? And people need to drink a lot of water if they're having a lot of these problems. And constipation, which is the halting of the elimination process, many people have constipation, whether it be due to stress or their genetic tendencies. you know, for dietary habits, lack of fiber, sedentary lifestyle. So basically, if you're dry on the outside, you're dry on the inside. Okay, if you have dry skin, you're dry on the inside. If you have dry lips, you're dry on the inside. Okay, so I've heard people say, my lips are dry all the time. Well, then you're dry on the inside. So got to get more water into the body and also look at, you know, what's going on. I mean, there's more to it than that, but that kind of starts it out there. So this is a great picture here of the colon. So the first section of the colon is called the cecum. It's right here. And that's the junction between the ileum, which is here, of the small intestine, and the cecum of the large intestine. And right there, where the junction is, there's a cecal valve, an ileocecal valve. And that valve prevents material from going backwards, from going from the cecum into the small intestines. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard of ileocecal valve. So that ileocecal valve can remain open. If there's inflammation in that area, if there's a lot of constipation, a lot of diarrhea, a lot of problems, it can remain open. And if it's open, it can allow material to go backwards into that small intestine. And that can cause a lot of problems. It can cause irritation. It can cause pain in that area. There is a massage that you can do to close that. So, you know, people that have dysbiosis and all kinds of problems with the bowels, then that's, you know, something that we look at. So the colon has 3 sections divided by flexures or bends, where it makes near right angle changes. And above the pouch of the cecum is the ascending, and that rises vertically for almost 18 inches on your right side over here. At the top, the ascending colon bends and the transverse colon begins. And the transverse colon travels horizontally for about 2 feet. Right at your navel, right at your belly button, and then turns back down again. Okay, and this 2 foot section here, that's a descending colon. The remaining several inches is the rectum. Okay, so that kind of gives you an idea of how long that colon is. And just below the entrance to the ileum, which is the end of the small intestine, you've got this little sac. All right, and that little sac like tube dangles. This is the appendix. It's only 3 to 6 inches long, so it's really small, 1/3 of an inch in diameter, so really tiny. It can easily get clogged with foods that you don't chew really well. Okay, food or waste, and so nuts and seeds and things that people don't chew real well. So if you're constipated and food's sitting in there, it can go in there and it can putrefy. And if it putrefies, it can cause inflammation, which can cause infection. And then that is called inflammation of the appendix, which is appendicitis. Okay. And so real important to make sure that the bowel is moving, that everything's clean, that ileocecal valve is closed, and so on. I've got a client that had cancer here in this area. And so she went through the whole shebang, had the surgery, went through chemo, radiation, and everything. And then she was seeing me for a while because she started having symptoms again, and she didn't want to have to go back through all that stuff. So we ran lots of tests, and that ileocecal valve was open. She was having pain, the ileocecal valve was open. So we managed to get that ileocecal valve closed. The pain went away, and she's doing a lot better. Last time I saw her, she was really happy and feeling really good. The best
How'd
ever.
you get it closed?
How do I get it closed? You do a massage. So if you want, you can take your right hand, and put it on your right hip bone. So I can stand up and do this for you. So you find your right hip bone over here, and then you take 3 fingers, 1, 2, 3, move your fingers to the left of that right hip bone, and you'll massage there. Okay, that's where the ileocecal valve is located. It's 3 fingers to the left of that right hip bone. Okay, so the best thing to do is do it when you're laying down, and it shouldn't be sore. It should not be sore in there. Okay, so when you lay down and you rub, and you lay down in bed or on the couch, if you rub it and it's sore, that's an indication that that valve may be open. Okay, so you're going to be rubbing it every day, once or twice a day. You're going to be rubbing it until, and you know, making sure that the bowels are moving properly, getting lots of water and fiber and everything that you need. And then, maybe you need some slippery elm to calm things down, aloe vera, whatever, alfalfa. And once it stops hurting, then it should be closed. Did you find it, Crystal? Yes? No?
What kind of
Yes, sorry, I'm
tests
on
could-
mute. Sorry,
Yeah,
yes.
I knew you were. Yeah.
what kind of tests could find if it's open or not?
Well, you mean medical tests?
Yeah.
Well, I don't even know if a colonoscopy will do it. Because a
So you
colonoscopy,
said the lady before had tests and they found it was open?
usually if there's problems with the bowels, if there's problems with dysbiosis, if there's problems with the intestines, if there's pain, inflammation in that area, then a lot of times that ileocecal valve will be open. You know,
Hmm.
you have valves at every juncture, right? You have a valve
Yeah.
at the top of your stomach and the bottom of your stomach, and where it can, and where all the connections are. And that's so the material doesn't go backwards. So if you lay down and massage and test that, use 3 fingers to the left of the bone, your right hip bone, that's where the ileocecal valve is located. And you massage in there and it's sore, then you want to massage it every day until it's not sore anymore, and make sure that the bowels are moving. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know if that answered your question. You know, like I said, maybe they could see that using a colonoscopy, but not everybody wants, you know, to find out.
Yeah.
Doctors usually aren't going to do a colonoscopy just to find out if a ileocecal valve is open.
I don't want one anyway.
Yeah, right, exactly. Not everybody does. So,
Mhm.
but the easiest way to check is to do the massage.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So these are some really great pictures. And these, gosh, I've had these for years and years and years and years. And there are several factors to promote good colon health. And these include adequate dietary fiber, adequate water intake, regular exercise, healthy balance of your friendly bacteria, your friendly flora, your favorable bacteria. Okay. So these are some images here of the different issues that can happen in the colon. So here we have the normal colon. Your small intestines are all in here. Here's your appendix. Here's your cecum, your ascending, your transverse, your descending. Most cancers occur here in the sigmoid, in this area, because material is held here for a long time. And the descending colon is also an area that there can be a lot of problems with diverticulitis or diverticulosis or polyps, things like that, can occur in here. So this is what basically a normal colon looks like. Here we have what's called prolapsus of the transverse colon. And so if you think about gravity, we're always standing up, right? And gravity is always pulling down. Well, if your bowels, if you have weak abdominal muscles, you don't have good abs, good abdominal muscles, a good core, that's kind of what holds everything where it's supposed to be. So, and if you're having problems with constipation, well, constipation is going to give you a lot of weight, right? The material is going to be held in there. Then the bowel can become weak and it can fall. And this is very drastic here. So, you can see normally how it is. So it can fall a little bit at a time, little bit at a time. When it gets to this point, that's when in females, it's putting pressure on the uterus and the ovaries, and it can cause all kinds of issues with incontinence and problems with the uterus, like fibroids and things like that, and cysts on the ovaries and problems like that. So if we have people that have prolapse, the only way to tell that is X-ray. And to be sure about that, an X-ray needs to be done standing up. I have a student right now that sent one of her clients for an X-ray to confirm that they had prolapses of the transverse colon, and they did. So the x-ray needs to be done standing up to show that gravity's pulling this down. And then this is just another one here that's showing prolapses with pressure on the organs. So, you know, if you have this weight, plus you've got to realize it's also going to cause problems at these flexures here because it has to go around and come down and then go around again and come down. Here we have what's called what a spasm can look like. And you can see here, this is the muscle tone here of the bowel. This is the muscle tone. You look at the muscles, the peristaltic action. You know, that's the squeezing action that occurs that pushes material through. Well, there's no muscle here, right? There's no muscle here. And so when material comes to this area, it's very small and there's nothing to help push that through. And so that's what a spasm looks like. A balloon sigmoid, this is when it's lost its tone and it gets very large. And on the outside here, these are little diverticula here. And so if an area is very large like this, it can hold a lot of material. And so somebody can be constipated with this as well because the material just sits in there. So somebody with a balloon sigmoid can have like a beer belly, a large belly that's really hard. And they can be holding on to a lot of undigested food or material that can't pass. Okay, so that can cause a lot of problems with flatulence and other kinds of problems. And here we have strictures where, you know, you have normal peristalsis and then you've got a very tight little area and material can't pass through here. And then it opens up and then you have another tight area here. So there was a lady that worked at the post office where I used to go and she was there. She was always there. She was my favorite. I'd go to her every day when I would go. And then all of a sudden she was missing. She wasn't there. So one day I asked where she was, and apparently she had a bowel obstruction, and she had a stricture, and she ended up with a bowel obstruction. She had to go in and have surgery. So you want to make sure that your bowels are moving properly. If hi Nakia, if there is constipation, if there's diarrhea is just another form of that. So you want to make sure that your bowels are moving really well, okay, every day. Doreen says, muscle response test to see if it is open. There you go. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, you can do muscle testing. You can do touch for health to see if the ileocecal, if you know how to do that. Very good. Thank you. Okay. Diverticula. So these are what little diverticula look like. We used to call them pockets because that's kind of what they are. If you imagine a pocket on the lining of the bowel where food and little pieces of nuts and seeds and grains and things, they can go inside here. So if you're not eliminating real well, those little things can sit inside here and they can putrefy. And if they putrefy, then they can cause inflammation and infection, and then you have diverticulitis, okay, because itises are inflammation of the diverticula. And then once that calms down, then they usually tell you that you have diverticulosis, which is the disease of diverticula. So the most important thing here, if somebody has diverticula or diverticulitis or diverticulosis, is not to eat popcorn, not to eat seeds and nuts. The best thing to do is to soak them over, soak them in water, soak them overnight, put them in the blender, make a butter out of them, and so that they're live, and then eat them that way. Okay, and colitis, you can see here is just the whole descending colon here has lost its peristaltic action. It's lost its muscle tone, and everything just kind of goes through like a bird. Okay, so there's ballooning here, and then there's stricture here. Okay, so it makes it real hard. So you have to calm everything down and then re-strengthen the bowel. And one of the ways to do that is to use a slant board. So you can use a slant board and a tennis ball. A slant board, I used to build slant boards. Dr. Jensen used to sell slant boards, and they don't sell slant boards anymore, and I don't build them anymore. But there for a while, I had people use their ironing boards. Well, now I'm dating myself. Now nobody uses ironing boards anymore. So what I used to do is I used to have people take their ironing board and put the small part of the ironing board on the couch and a large part of the ironing board on the floor. And then you lay on it with your head down and your feet up. So what we do now is you go buy wood. Okay, so you go buy a piece of wood and you put one part of it on the couch, the other part of it on the floor, put a blanket over it so you don't get splinters, and lay down on it. Okay, and we don't want you to get splinters. And then the feet are up and the head is down, so you're at an angle like this. And what that does is that brings the bowel back into the proper position. And you can work the bowel at that point. So you can do little crunches with your stomach to strengthen the abdominal muscles in the core. You can use a tennis ball, and that's really good, especially for moving material through. You can start on the right side at that ileocecal valve and run the tennis ball up the ascending, across the transverse, down the descending, and then you just go like this in a square. Just keep going around and around and around. And that helps to move the material and at the same time keep that belly tight to strengthen those core muscles. The only people that really can't use a slant board are people with high blood pressure. They really shouldn't use a slant board. But anybody that's wearing glasses, like me, Yolanda, and Doreen, you know, we're wearing glasses. I don't know about anybody else here, but it's really great for getting blood up into the head. It's great for helping with your memory. It's helpful for your ears and for your eyes, and it's great for circulation. Dr. Jensen used to suggest it twice a day, 10 minutes in the morning, and then before you go to bed. So before you go to bed, you take a nice hot bath, maybe with Epsom salts to relax your body and get your magnesium, or take a nice hot shower, wrap yourself all up nice in a towel, in a nice robe, and then lay on the slant board with a nice blanket, all nice and toasty. And it's very, very relaxing, really great for circulation, really great for the bowel, and helping to get everything back into place and move everything. So that's a couple things. Okay, fiber. Fiber intake provides the colon with bulk to facilitate the process of peristalsis, which is the involuntary contraction of intestinal muscles to move food through the intestines. Fiber decreases bowel transit time. So if you have somebody that is having really quick transit time, and the way you can check that is have them eat corn. Just have them eat, a corn on the cob, and then they just need to watch the toilet and see how long it takes for them to eliminate the corn. And then they'll know what their transit time is. Fiber also absorbs toxins in the intestinal tract, which allows the bowel to eliminate them from the body. So fiber is really good. Water is really important, right? It's needed to maintain healthy mucus lining the intestines. It's important for everything. And the lining lubricates the food and waste as it travels through the colon. If you don't get enough water, then the bowel's going to pull it anyway. It's going to pull it, or the body's going to pull it from the bowel. The body needs it. It's going to pull it from the bowel, and if the toxins go with it, then that's when we're talking about autointoxication. So for people that tend to be on the dehydrated side, that can happen. Okay. Water also helps keep the stool soft, pliable for easy elimination. Hard, dry stools cause strain on the colon, strain on the rectum, which can cause all kinds of other problems. Okay. If the body does not get adequate water, well, there you go. See, I just said it. The colon will absorb more water from the food and waste, increasing the chance that toxins will also be absorbed, causing stools that are dry and difficult to pass. So half your weight in ounces of water per day is the typical, what we say. You take your weight, divide it in half, and those are the number of ounces, up to 100 ounces per day, not more than 100 ounces per day. And it's not like, okay, well, today I've been drinking 20 ounces of water every day. Now tomorrow I'm supposed to go 100. We don't do that. You'd go, 20 today, 25 tomorrow, 30 the next day, maybe stay there for a few days. Okay, you just gradually go up over a week to 2 weeks. And it can also be a clear fluid. So, if you want to make a juice, you want to put water and put some watermelon in it, or put some spices in, or you want to make a light tea that you can see through, that can also be counted towards your water, as long as it doesn't dehydrate. So like caffeine and soda, those things dehydrate, and that doesn't count. That's opposite. So we want to make sure that it's good, clean water is the best. Exercise, regular exercise stimulates the action of the colon. Mild aerobic exercise, such as walking, is really good. And any type of exercise that involves bending of the abdomen can also be helpful in promoting colon health. Okay, beneficial bacteria. I found these pictures. This is pretty neat. This is a picture of acidophilus. Okay, very important component of colon health is a balance of intestinal bacteria, or flora. We know it as our friendly flora. And there are more than 400 types of bacteria in the gastrointestinal tract. Some are beneficial or friendly, and some are not friendly. They're unfriendly. So there's two types. There's Lactobacillus acidophilus. That's what this is under a microscope. And this is bifidus here. Okay, a name referring to several strains of bifidobacteria. So these bacteria assist in the final breakdown of food, produce B vitamins, and keep the populations of unfriendly bacteria in check. And a decrease in the population can reduce the amount of certain B vitamins available to the body. So if you take antibiotics, what happens? It kills all the unfriendly bacteria and it kills the friendly bacteria. And then you have to go back and you have to replace all that friendly bacteria. So it's better to stay healthy and not have to take antibiotics if you can help it. Okay, B vitamin, folate. These are some foods that are high in folate. And insufficient amounts of B vitamin, folate in the diet can increase the risk of colon cancer. Also, low vitamin D is another one that can increase your risk of colon cancer. So you want to make sure. I have so many people come to me that have had blood tests and they're told, oh, your vitamin D levels are fine, and they're at like 30. And that's not fine. They need to be up close to 80. Okay, anything over 80 can be toxic. So if your vitamin D level is between 30 and 80, 70 is good, okay, in there, but 30 is not, and 20 is definitely not. So we want to bring up that D. Lactose intolerant people. I've got some things in here. Hold on, we'll get to it. Fluoroforce is a good one. Is that for lactose intolerant? Fluoroforce is a really good one. Let's see. And then there's also another one that works real well. Okay, so friendly bacteria can be destroyed easily by antibiotics, like I said. Stress, alcohol, caffeine, high meat, high fat diets, high sugar, low fiber diets. Doesn't this sound like what everybody does? So low levels of stomach acid also promote growth of harmful bacteria. Low levels of stomach acid is very common in anybody over 50. Okay, or even actually I heard recently anybody over 40. So if you're over 40, if you're over 50, you really got to watch that stomach acid. And the symptoms of high stomach acid and low stomach acid are the same: heartburn. Okay, so if you have heartburn after you're eating, the best thing, easy, simple thing, it's a really easy, simple test. I had my husband do it the other night. If you have heartburn, just get some celery, little teeny piece. You don't need very much, just a little slice. And if you don't like celery, you don't have to swallow it, but you get the celery, put it in your mouth and chew it, and then swallow the juice and spit out the fiber if you don't like the fiber. Okay. And one little tiny piece of celery that big will get rid of heartburn just like that, because it helps with that sodium lining in the stomach, and that protects you from that too much acid. Okay. And also from the low levels of acid. So low levels of stomach acid promote the growth of harmful bacteria. So we need to have enough acid to break down our proteins and our fats, but not too much acid. Okay. So, and low levels is not good either. What can get rid of sulfur rings in your colon? Well, you can do detoxing like bentonite and psyllium, and a lot of good colon cleanses will get rid of a lot of that stuff. You can do kalimas, you can do enemas along with that to colon cleanse and clean all that out. You have a gene that doesn't let you clean. What do you have? MTHFR?
I have MTHFR, but I think, I don't remember the name, is COMT. I don't remember exactly, but I have
Yeah.
the MTHFR. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have either A1298C or C677T? One of those errors?
I don't have it in front of me, but it could be.
Probably. So what you would have to do is you'd have to do methylation. That's what I think. It's going to depend on which error you have. But if you have MTHFR, then you need to go, if you haven't already, you need to go to methylated B12 and methylfolate,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I
So
have.
methyl tetrahydrofolate and then methylcobalamin, and
Mhm.
also do methylation therapy. And that helps because that means that you're not producing the enzyme or enough of the enzyme that you need to methylate. Okay. And so if you you can be heterozygous or homozygous. So you can have one error from one parent, or you can have two errors, one from each parent, or you can have a double, right? And so each one has to do with a quote unquote percentage. Okay, you can have a percentage. So if you have one error from one parent, then that what they say is that enzyme isn't functioning at about 30%. If you have a double from a parent, like a double A1298C or a double C677T, then you're looking at 70% that you may not be methylating.
Oh.
Yeah. So look it up, find out what it is. And if you want to let me know, privately on your own time, you can let me know and I can talk to you about it. And
Okay.
yeah, but working with the liver and working with methylation, okay, should help that. Okay, studies show that they may also hamper the intestinal tract's cholesterol absorption, thereby decreasing cholesterol levels. And as a side benefit to women, there was a study which suggested that acidophilus may reduce the recurrence of candida. Imagine that. I could have told them that. I didn't have to go through the study. Wow. I mean, I used to go work in a candida control group in San Francisco years ago. And I could have told them that. Look at that. Okay. Did you know that the average adult colon is about 6 feet long? And did you know that it takes anywhere from 12 to 36 hours for food and waste to be processed and eliminated? Did you know that there are billions of bacteria, more than 400 types, that live in your gastrointestinal tract? And did you know that E. coli, which is the bacteria found occasionally in undercooked beef and famous for serious illness, lives in the colon and helps break down food substances? It's only when it's out of control, right, that it can cause problems. And it's actually, I should have put on there, did you know that that is the #1 cause of bladder infections? Okay, is E. coli. So I guess I could go back and put that in there for the next time.
What about if somebody has had bladder infections and they're pregnant?
What
Is
about
that
it?
a difference? Like I was told I got two daughters, but I was told that was when I was like 19 when I had my first daughter, and that my bladder, I had kept getting bladder infections like 3 times with her, but they said that my bladder and my uterus are very close. That's what the doctor said. So I don't know how real is that, but that was in My daughter is 32 now, so that was long ago.
Yeah, so there could have been pressure, there could have been, inflammation, there could have been, I mean, cranberry juice, helps with so that the bacteria doesn't attach to the lining of the bladder. So, who knows? It also has to do with, making sure that you urinate after sexual intercourse, wiping the proper direction. There's so many factors, if you sweat, I mean, there's just all kinds of things.
But I
And
never had one outside of that, and
oh, well,
I'm
they're good.
51.
Yeah,
So
then you don't
yeah,
have to worry
never
about
had
it,
one.
right? You don't have to worry about it. Yeah, there's lots of things. So it was a complication to pregnancy.
Oh, I didn't have none. I had all vaginal, no C-sections.
No,
My
but I mean
youngest.
the bladder. I mean the bladder
Oh,
infections.
okay, okay.
There's always something when you're pregnant. Your body is going through all these things. Okay, this is from Stephen Horn. I love this chart. If you have 4 or more of the following indications, you may consider nutritional aid to the intestinal system. So body odor or bad breath, eat meat more than 3 times a week, recent or frequent use of antibiotics, skin complexion problems, regular consumption of dairy products, feeling low, uninterested or depressed, lack of a balanced diet, slow recovery from illness, less than 2 bowel movements per day. I mean, how many people do you know that have even 2 bowel movements a day? A lot of people that I talk to say, I have a bowel movement after I have my cup of coffee in the morning because the coffee stimulates them to go to the bathroom. And if they don't have their cup of coffee, they don't go. Okay. High fat diet, low fiber diet, food chemical sensitivities, recurrent yeast, fungal infections, easily irritated or angered, don't get enough exercise, respiratory, sinus, or allergy problems. I'm sure you know lots of people that have 4 or more of those indications. And this chart, I'm happy to send it to you because I have a full, or you can go online, Tree of Light Publishing. And this is a chart that he did, that Stephen Horn did on the intestinal system. He used to be the master herbalist for Nature Sunshine. And he talks about metabolism, moisture, and tone, and the different symptoms that people can have based on, based on what's going on in the bowels. And then it comes out here and tells you if they have intestinal irritation, depression, stagnation, atrophy, constriction, or relaxation, and what they need. So that's a good little chart. Okay, so there was a question there about, and they don't have it on here, do they? Okay, intestinal system suggestions: eat high fiber fruits and vegetables and wholesome grains. Drink at least 64 ounces of water per day. And depending on your weight, up to 100 ounces. Avoid excess white flour. Oh, that's spelled wrong. Look at flour instead of Flour. I didn't catch that.
We know what you mean.
Oh my God. And now you know why I like to teach. Okay. Eat yogurt and other fermented foods and avoid frequent use of stimulant laxatives. So, I usually make my talks that they're generic, not Nature Sunshine, but this is a really good one. And even if you're not Nature Sunshine, you can find these products probably in a product line that you're carrying or someplace near you, whatever you like. So aloe vera is really, really good for the intestines. Anti-gas supplements are really good and helpful if somebody is, if they're suffering from a lot of intestinal gas. Any type of intestinal soothing and building combinations, those are great for problems with diverticulitis, diverticulosis, irritation of the bowels, colitis, anything having to do with H. pylori, any of those kinds of things. Those intestinal soothe and build combos are really great. This is Nature's 3. It's got psyllium in it, and it's got apopectin, high fiber. So if you want to do a cleanse, you can use that, or you can use any kind of, I used to, with Dr. Jensen, I did a really strong cleanse with his products. And it had diatomaceous earth, and it had a really strong psyllium product, as well as herbs to help move everything out. So it really depends on if you want to do a cleanse what type of a cleanse, because you can do a real simple cleanse that doesn't interfere with your schedule, or you can really get down and dirty and include enemas and kalimas and colonics and you know and hydrated bentonite and parasite cleansing and all kinds of things. It really just depends. Food enzymes, like I said, anybody that's over 40, you know, lots of people that are under stress, it interferes with the stomach acids and they have a hard time breaking down their foods. There it is, probiotic 11. That's a really good one by Nature's Sunshine. It has the 11 different probiotics in it. LBS2, well, they named this because it has herbs to help clear out the lower bowel. And there's this little slogan that they used to say, LBS2 takes the BS out of you. And, you know, once you learn that, you never forget that. And I tell my clients that. I said, you know what LBS stands for? And they look at me and go, what? And I said, LBS takes the BS out of you. And they're like, that's what I need. I need some of that. So there for a while, that was the #1 selling product for Nature Sunshine because it's got the herbs in it to help to loosen everything up and remove everything from the bowels, but it doesn't irritate. Clean Start is a nice cleanse that people can do if they're just starting. Maybe they haven't ever done a cleanse before. Maybe they've done a cleanse before. Maybe they had a bad experience. Maybe they want to go slow so they can still go to work and it doesn't interfere their schedule. You know, and you can find other combos as well. But that's, you know, these are the ones that are really good for if you want to use, you just discover, oh, hi, Jackie. You just discovered LBS. Is it harsh for you? Yeah. So you may need something with less cascara in it because cascara sagrada is in there, and some people cannot use you. It's just like when you go to the store and you buy buy something in a can or a jar, and you look at the labels, and whatever's first is most in that, right? And so it's the same with herbal combinations. You need to look at the first couple ingredients, and that's what's in it the most. And if you tend to have irritable bowel or sensitive bowel, too much cascara is not a good thing. So sometimes you might want to get something that has less cascara sagrada in it. So.
I have a question, Brenda.
Oh, there you go, Ultrabiome. Yeah.
What's, I mean, I know technically what the difference is between hydrochloric acid and enzymes. Do you need both or do you need one? What's the story?
Some people need both. So there
Okay.
again, you can muscle test for it to see, or I use the Zyto. The Zyto will tell me, you know, what somebody needs. You know, your hydrochloric acid, that breaks down your proteins. Okay. And you know, people can use sauerkraut if they want to use food to increase their hydrochloric acid naturally in their stomach. Okay. So if you have somebody that's eating a lot of meat, a lot of heavy proteins, and they can tolerate sauerkraut, they like it, then they can use that, or they can use HCl. The only thing with HCl is if they're taking too much, they're going to get acid mouth. Okay, and so you want to make sure that if they take hydrochloric acid, they take it with their food, and especially with their proteins or with their meats, so that it gets broken down at the same time and it helps the body. And then the enzymes, you've got amylase and protease and, you know, all those things. So some of them you can get out of fruits. Like if they like pineapple, okay, they can get their papain that way, which helps break down proteins and so on and so on. Or, you know, they can take like this is food enzymes. They can take the enzymes with their meals, and that helps break the food down because they don't have the enzymes to do it. Okay. In iridology, we look at the eyes. I was going to actually show you a couple of pictures of the eyes. In iridology, we look and we can tell genetically if a person is more prone to have issues with that or not. And so, yeah. I just, you know, I can't teach a class and not put eyeballs in it. It's hard for me. Okay, so I'm not going through all this. You guys can read it. I just listed some things here, and this is all generic. So bowel detoxifiers, activated charcoal is really good, a really good absorbent. Bifidobacillus is a really good bacteria for the bowels. Intestinal soothe and building, like I said earlier, that helps to relieve inflammation. Great for diverticula and diverticulosis and H. pylori and things like that. Spleen activators, lower bowel stimulants to help evacuate, especially if somebody's on psyllium. If somebody's on, they're taking a teaspoon of straight psyllium hulls, usually they're going to need some kind of a lower bowel stimulant to move that through. Otherwise, they can back up and get constipated. And there's your psyllium holes right there. Psyllium holes, cholesterol. There's usually a lot of cholesterol products that have also oat bran and things in them to help the bowels. Magnesium is really great for the bowels to help relax, right? To help relax everything. And of course, a lot of problems in the bowels are caused from stress. So anything to calm, if that's what's causing problems, if somebody has parasites, any kind of parasite cleansing, black walnut, things like that. So these are some of the different things that people can use. And then I have flow charts here that go through the intestinal system. And these were originally from Stephen Horn, and then I've edited them over the years and added some essential oils to them as well. So this one here is the way you use these is you look at this, and this would be for somebody who's constipated. And then these would be the indications: dry, compacted stool, infrequent or difficult elimination, mental sluggishness, feeling of bloating and fullness. Hi, Wendy.
Hello.
Unpleasant smelling stools, poor diet, environmental toxicities, fatigue, irritability, gastrointestinal irregularities, and allergic reactions. So if you have people with this, then you can decide if they have atonic constipation or spastic constipation. Okay, so the indications for atonic constipation would be that they're regular, but on the slow side. Elimination is only every 2 to 3 days or more. And it would be a thick and gooey consistency. Okay. And so I actually had a woman that went 12 days without having a bowel movement. She was my shocker lady. I use her as my example whenever I teach a class on the bowels. And you know what? It took a bit to get her open. We had to use enemas. We had to use oil, retention enemas with oil to soften. And then we had to get in there, and I didn't do it. I had her do it. But we had to get in there with enemas and open everything up, and then get in there with aloe vera and calm everything down. Got it all open, and then and kept her open. But when she came to me, she was kind of this grayish color. Her skin was kind of this grayish color, and her husband was a truck driver, and he came to see me, and he told me his wife hadn't had a bowel movement for a really long time, and and so it's possible. It's possible somebody can go without having a bowel movement and still eat. Believe it or not, she still ate, and I don't know where it went. But, everything just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And she was tiny too. It's not like she was all bloated and had a big belly or anything. She was small. You couldn't even tell. You couldn't tell from the outside of her, but her skin was kind of a grayish color. And so that took a while. It took a time to get that all open, but she did. And then, it's just a matter of keeping it open. So there's some things that can be used: the lower bowel stimulants, psyllium, and then there's oils there. And then if there's spastic constipation, the indications would be cramping, explosive bowel movements, irregular bowel movement schedule, stress, so muscle spasms all over the body. Then these are, you notice it's a little different. Magnesium and nerve calming and things to calm, so irritable bowel fibers and stress combinations and kava and everything to calm, valerian root, all those kinds of things. And then there's some oils there. Then there's this one here. So this is if the colon is irritated and inflamed, if it's hot. Okay, and so the general indications would be loose or watery stool, so like diarrhea, but really watery, and intestinal inflammation, where somebody has like diarrhea and then they're bloated and they have pain and inflammation and things like that. So then you have two choices: either diarrhea or inflammatory bowel. Okay, so if it's just diarrhea once in a while, then, you know, red raspberry, activated charcoal. And really important to tell people if they're taking charcoal that that can turn their stool black so that they don't freak out when they go to the bathroom. And the other thing is if you have, you know, I mean, I've had so many people have colonics. And one of the things I tell them is eat beets. You know, eat beets for a week, not just beets, but add beets to your diet for a week before you go have colonics. I actually had a lady call me and ask me if she was bleeding because beets turn your stool red. And so she went to the bathroom and she saw red in the toilet and she thought there was blood. So always talk to clients and tell them, you know, hey, you're going to eat, you're going to take charcoal. It may turn your stool black, so don't worry. If you're going to eat beets, it may turn your stool red, so don't worry, it's okay, right? So just make sure you communicate with them. There's some oils that are really great for that. And inflammatory bowel, if they have alternating diarrhea constipation, so if they have IBS, right? There's intestinal soothing and building combos. Those are really great. They usually have slippery elm and marshmallow, and other types of soothing herbs in there for the bowels. Spleen activators, omega-3s, and then there's some other oils there that are really great. And of course, there's other things too. It's just that I can't fit it all in here, you know. And so there's always other things that can be used. If somebody has parasites, let's say somebody traveled to another country and they came back and they've had diarrhea every day since, or they had a Zytoscan, or you muscle tested them and they came out positive for parasites, or they're having some kind of symptoms and, you know, and they think they have parasites, or they have a dog, or they have a cat, or they walk barefooted in the dirt. You know, there's all kinds of, or they, like me, went to a Whole Life Expo thinking they were getting really great, holistic, vegan, lovely salads, go into the expo without parasites and come out with them. That happened to me. So, you know, go to a restaurant where they don't wash their lettuce, you know, or how about the best one is eating sushi. Yeah, that's the best one, right? So indications, severe diarrhea after foreign travel. Okay, that's a real big one. And I was really worried about that because I went to Croatia. So I took all my precautions when I was there. I was there for a week. I had no problems and no problems when I came back. Just really careful. Chronic diarrhea after drinking untreated water, chronic unresolved health problems, constant hunger, unsatisfied appetite, itchy rectum. Dogs, you know how they rub on the grass? Okay, that's an indication of parasites for them. Okay, so parasite cleansing. There's lots of things for parasite cleansing. Pumpkin seeds is usually you want to have a combo with pumpkin seeds and black walnut in it. And Bifidophilus, take it while cleansing. There's liquid black walnut for children. There's cherry, and then there's some oils there. Purification on the belly or bottoms of the feet is really good. Okay. There's some ideas. And there's the eyeballs. I have to include them. And I said, in case you're interested in iridology, all right. So there are 3 eyes. And my reason for putting these here is just to show you where the colon, where the intestinal system is. So here in this is the right eye and left eye. And here in the center, this is your pupil. And around your pupil is your stomach. Okay, so this green ring right here, this is the stomach. And so that would be, here's the pupil, and then this would be the stomach right here. Okay, and this one here, you can't see it very well, but here's the stomach is here. You can see a little bit of it. And then the stomach would be here. Okay, and around that is the intestines. Okay, so here we have the right side of the small intestines, and here we have the left side of the small intestines. Then it comes over here and attaches to the cecum. There's the little appendix. And then it comes over here, attaches and this attaches to the ascending colon, just like in this chart. Okay. And then we have the ascending colon here, and then the transverse colon. So this is the right side of the transverse colon, belly button, left side of the transverse colon right here, and the descending colon. And then here's the sigmoid and the rectum and out. So this here, right here, inside here, this is the colon in stomach. This ring is the division between the digestive system and the rest of the body in iridology. Okay, so here, this is called a collarette or an autonomic nerve wreath. That shows us the spine, shows us the nervous system. So inside here, this is the stomach and the colon, and outside here are all the organs and systems. And so these are both mixed eyes, and then this is a brown eye here, and then here's that ring again. Okay, so inside here is the colon and the stomach, and outside are all the organs. So I just wanted to show you that because you know me in iridology, that's my passion. And so when we look at the eyes, I was talking about that earlier to determine if somebody has an overacid or underacid stomach. These would all be underacid because they're dark. So when there's darkness inside here, whether it be orange color or brown color, you know, when it's dark or it looks darker than the eye or the same as the eye, then it's usually going to be underacid. So that's a good time to use hydrochloric acid, okay? And if it's whiter in here, which you can see, this is not whiter. This is about the same color. And this one here is about the same color or darker. And then this one is darker. So if it's darker, that usually means underacid. Okay, and so then we'd be using more hydrochloric acid. If it's whiter, then we'd be, you know, using enzymes and working with calming things down. Okay, and but there again, it's genetic. This is genetic. So just because we see it in the eye doesn't mean that that's actually a problem going on at the time. Okay, this is the genetic tendency. So their tendency is to have an underacid stomach, and it depends on their life. It really depends on, you know, what they think, what they do, what they eat, you know, what they drink, who they love, how they love, and all of, you know, their life that determines, you know, what really goes on in the body. So anyway, that's wanted to introduce iridology a little bit to you. And I think what I'll do in the rest of because we're going to be going through the glandular system next and then all the systems, I'll do the same thing. I'll put some pictures in here and point out where the different organs are to the different systems. And so this is the iridology chart that we use. It's set up just like the body, and all of the systems are color coded. So it makes it a little easier. So we're going to be going into the glandular system, and that's in purple. So we've got the thyroid here, and we've got the pancreas, and we've got all the different glands, the uterus and the prostate and the pituitary and the pineal and the thymus is over here, and so on, so on. So we'll be looking at all the different adrenal glands and all the different things. Okay, so the next class is on February 6th from 6 to 7. Unless 5 o'clock works better. You know, I thought about just changing it to 5. You like 5? Okay, so we'll go 5 to 6 again, Pacific Standard Time. And once again, all of the classes are recorded. If you just came in, because there's a couple new people here, and you want to receive the recordings from before, let me know. I'll send them to you. Send me an email. It's free. And anybody can come if you have friends that are interested or colleagues that are interested in learning about a particular system, or, you know, or they want to learn all about it, you know, the class or whatever, just tell them. It's fine. The more the merrier. If you want to become certified, or they want to become certified, then they can talk to me about becoming certified. And it is approved by the Board of Registered Nursing, and they can carry CHC initials behind their name. The difference is just coming to the little herbal hours, there's no responsibility, there's no quizzes, no nothing. If somebody wants to become certified, then there's quizzes and then there's a final. Okay, and of course they need to pay for it. It's $350. Okay. All right, so if you have,
I'm sorry, you're doing classes from 5 to 6 Pacific time?
yes,
Okay, so
Yeah.
that would be 8. Okay, so I'm really late. So it was, okay. So it was 8 to 9 tonight. Okay.
yeah. I
Oh, I'm
sent,
sorry. I didn't realize that. Okay.
yeah, I'm sorry. I sent 2 emails out. I sent one out 2 days ago, letting everybody know, and then I sent another one out tonight. And I was hoping that everybody would see that. So I'm sorry you didn't see
Okay.
that.
No worries. I'll change my calendar.
Yeah, I think it's easier, especially for people on the East Coast.
Yeah.
You know, and it's easier for me too. I don't get home so late. So, it's just easier. So, I should change this, but now it's too late. So anybody that's watching this video, the next class will be February 6th from 5 to 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we'll do it on the glandular system. And it'll be the same thing. It'll be kind of about, it's an hour, okay? And we'll just keep moving through. All right? So
Brenda, is that
thank you for being here
current
tonight.
phone number?
That's my phone number's right there. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. My email is iridology@netzero.net. My office number is the 530-878-1119, or you could text me on my cell at 530-368-0918 and just let me know, hey, I want to talk to you, and we can set up a time to talk.
Yeah, I'd like to do that. Thank you.
Sure. Sure.
And I know whatever, if I remember before the 6th, I'd rather do it closer to the 6th than not. I'll post that on, there's a local LMT website, or I mean, Facebook page, and I'll post that information because I'm sure a lot of massage therapists would be interested in the herbal hour.
Okay. All right. Great. Okay. All right. Thank you, Crystal. All right. So is there anything else? Any other questions that I can answer or anything you want to add?
Yeah, I wanted to ask the derfigurators.
I'm sorry. What?
The pockets in the colon.
Oh,
So
diverticulate.
is that, does that ever, because I had the first iridologist that I saw, it was in 2000, I think 11, and I had that as well. So, I mean, is there a way, because I don't have no problems, like, so I'm just wondering, does they go away in time because, or it doesn't? Once you have them, are they always there?
Well, they're not supposed, first of all, they're not supposed to say that you have a diverticulate. We used to say pockets. We used to say, that in the old days, we used to say, oh, you have pockets in the bowels because, which the doctors know is diverticulate. And I've never known them to go away. But if you're working on rebuilding the bowel and strengthening the bowel and keeping everything clean and keeping everything moving, everything healed in the body. So, and you use a tennis ball to strengthen and work with that peristaltic action. I suppose it could. The only way you would actually be able to prove that it's gone away is to have an x-ray or have, like a colonoscopy where they go in there and look, to see if they're gone. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, that was because I had taken I was in a car accident, I was on Vicodin, and I was taking them while I was asleep, because I didn't know that I was like addicted to them until I found out I was addicted. So I got off of them, and I take, stuff with aloe in it. I take chlorophyll, I take slippery elm. I've been on chlorophyll since then, and I go to the bathroom 2 times a day, and I go a lot and they're long and I don't have no problems. But I think it's because I probably cleaned that up since then, and I eat good, I eat organically.
Right.
So,
right.
and I don't really do no lot of red meats or anything like that. So maybe I just didn't know it because I'm like, I don't spasm. I just go when I need to go. And I mean, I go.
You are one of the lucky ones, and you've done the work. You've done
Yeah.
the work. And that's what it takes. It takes work, and
And
a
I
lot of
drink
people.
water, pH balanced water. That's all I drink.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Anything else?
Brenda, what do you think of this new trend of carnivore? I mean, I have a friend who had bad irritable bowel for years, and nothing would help. He finally got into the carnivore diet, fermented foods, high fat, and he eats vegetables and he gets bloated. He cannot handle fiber. And so I wonder what that is.
I have 2 clients that are carnivore. And you know what? I tell people to listen to their body. So,
Mhm.
you know, I have two clients that were miserable. And, you know, you can take the enzymes, they can take the enzymes, do the colon cleansing, you know, work with their body, you know, balance out the biome. And hopefully they would be able to eat what they need to eat, you know, what they're supposed to eat. But,
Mhm.
you know, and then of course their blood work was all off. And they both told me, I feel better when I'm carnivore. And I said, well, listen to your body. So they both went back on carnivore. All their blood work came back normal. All their dysbiosis went away. Everything cleared up.
Yeah. Yep.
It's not something that I'm going to do. I'm not going to, you know, one of my, the one client told me that all she ate every day for a week was steak. And
Mhm.
that is not something that I want to do. But
Right.
for her, it worked. And, you know, and so, I mean, in my world over here, you know, I'm thinking about cholesterol and constipation and heart attacks. And, you know, I'm thinking about all that fat, just like anybody that goes on to Atkins, right? That's or
Mhm.
keto, a full keto where they're putting cream in their coffee and loading
Yeah.
cream on top of their ice cream and just, you know, just lots of fat. So uh that's kind of how I work. If it really works for them and their blood work becomes normal and they feel better and they're not having the problems they were having before, then maybe for them and their type, it might be right.
Well, yeah. He lost 100 pounds, and his IBS just fixed itself. So I can't argue with him. Although he tries to push me into carnivore, and I'm not into extremes. I like balance. So
Yeah, and I do worry about that. I worry about I mean, you're going to have to use other types of supplements, you know, because you're not going to get all your vitamins and minerals from steak every day, you
mm,
know. So you're going to have to, they're going to have to supplement in other ways and for, you know, other things that are missing,
mhm.
right?
Okay. Yeah.
And if they check their pH, because, you know, if you eat meat every day, meat is very acidic and it can throw your pH off, right? So you can become acidic, which can lead to joint pain and gout and all kinds of other things. Well, if they're checking their pH and they're not acidic and they're
Yeah.
not having, you know,
What can you say? Yeah. Yeah.
who am I to say don't do it?
How do you check the pH? The saliva and urine?
Yeah, yeah, the pH
Mhm.
papers. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
That's kind of how like I said, I have two clients that are carnivore and it's not for me, but I mean, I have my own program that works for me, but you know,
Right.
we're all different.
Yeah. I've had two friends before who were into Chinese medicine, and they finally started to eat meat, and they both got significantly better. So it worked for them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
What's the blood type? Because I know the blood type has something to do with it. If he's a O, most people
I,
are O, they can eat. I'm a A plus, and I can eat vegan all day.
I'm a
Yeah.
no. Yeah, and I think he's a no.
Oh, that's why he can eat that much meat.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And there again, the blood type diet is not for everybody. You
Nope.
know,
Right.
it's just like anything, right? It's just like anything.
Exactly.
It's just like what I call astrology. It's not for everybody, you know.
Right.
And so people have to, what I tell people is I just tell people, listen to your body. If you eat it and you feel good, go for it. If you eat it and afterwards you feel bloated or you feel tired or you feel sick or you feel nauseated or it's like it doesn't sit right, then just stay away from it for a while and then try it again later and see, you know. Listen, just really listen to the body. You know, the body will tell us exactly
Yeah.
what we need, you know.
years ago, people were losing weight on keto and I tried keto. I gained 50 pounds.
Wow, really?
Wow.
Yeah.
So not definitely not for you.
Nope.
Why didn't you
Nope.
stop? Like at a certain point, go, this isn't working.
Well, I was on this kind of program and mentally I felt better with it, but physically it wasn't for me. I became a vegan and I finally lost all the weight and I feel pretty good being a vegan.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a total vegan, but I do have some fish and some chicken occasionally, but yeah, but
Mhm.
I
so
think
it's
our bodies change too, truthfully. Like I know as I'm getting into different phase in my life, there's certain things that I like start to gravitate towards and certain things that my body will say, no, I'm good. And I notice like if I listen to my body, like now I'm listening to my body where before I could just do whatever I felt like doing. And now I'm like paying attention, like even if you look at food and ask, should I eat this? Your body will respond. Like it's you, I don't know. I'm just yeah, learning to listen has been very helpful.
Good. Yeah. I think about I was talking to my husband about this last night, my daughter, all the people that are in line at midnight at Jack in the Box and McDonald's and Kentucky Fried Chicken and all the fast food places. At midnight, I'll be someplace and I'll be coming home at 11 o'clock at night or midnight, and there's this long line. And I'm thinking, do you guys not understand? They don't understand because nobody teaches this. Nobody
Yeah.
teaches you in school about health, right? And about, especially in high school, nobody teaches you anything,
And even
and
about food combining.
no, nobody teaches you anything
Mhm.
about that. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, midnight and you're eating a hamburger with bacon and cheese and French fries that are fried and a milkshake.
Mm-hmm.
But then, of
Yep.
course, I think the same thing about Starbucks in the morning because I drive by a Starbucks every morning to come here to the office and I see it lined up. I see the line come into the road and I'm thinking all these people are getting loaded up on caffeine and sugar. And here comes diabetes, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
all the effects of the caffeine keeping people in the sympathetic.
Yep.
I'm going both. I'm seeing all this, right?
Mhm.
And I'm thinking, I just need to put a table right there in the parking lot. Go, if you eat this or if you drink this, come and see me.
Uh-huh.
And
Yep.
I probably make a mint, or maybe not. Maybe those people are going to go, you don't know what you're talking about,
well,
right?
that's what
Yeah.
I'm learning now is like I did my first expo over the weekend and if people aren't ready for it, they're not going to
Yeah.
hear
Yeah.
anything
Exactly.
you have to say. So that's what
Exactly.
the universe is teaching me how to actually learn and work with people with this because it's like if you're not ready, it's like it's okay, you know.
Yeah.
You
I'll be
just
here when
plant
you
a
are.
seed. You plant a seed and let it grow when it wants to.
Yeah. Right. Right. What is that saying? When the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Yes.
It also goes the other way around, right?
That's how I met you. Because I
That's
thought
how.
about iridology, like I remember hearing about it and going, I need to go into that. And then whatever reason that window closed for quite a few years. And then I don't even know how I found you. Honestly, people will say, well, how did you get into iridology? And I can tell them the first story from like 15 years ago, but I can't tell them how I actually ran across you. Like, no idea how I fell into your class, honestly. But
It
when
was
I
meant
was
to be.
ready, no, divine design. That's what I
Yeah.
think. But yeah, it's crazy.
I just remember getting a message from one of your friends or somebody that knows you saying that you were really excited and it was something you wanted to do for years. I
Yeah.
remember that.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know. When people are ready, they'll hear it. And you can't make anybody do anything that they're not ready to do, you know. And
Right.
sometimes they need to, the way I explain it is they need to get hit on the side of the head by a big block, and it's like,
Mhm.
well, they have to have a heart attack or they've got to become pre-diabetic or they've got to, something has got to happen. before they like go, oh my gosh, why is this happening to my body? You know, and how can I change it? And then there's people like my brother-in-law who was doing so well, and then he was actually on Atkins and then went on keto, and he was keeping his blood sugar at normal because he was pre-diabetic, and then he went on Atkins and keto, and then he was keeping his blood sugar normal, and then he had a heart attack, probably from eating all that fat, and it was a minor heart attack, but it was enough. And then the doctor said, well, now you have to go on blood thinners, and you have to go on diabetic medicine, and you have to go on blood pressure medicine. And now he's on everything and he eats everything. Okay.
Wow.
So now he's using the medicine to take care of the symptoms,
Mm-hmm.
but underneath that, the problem is still there.
Welcome to
Yeah.
America. That's what I think. I just think
Yep.
America, let's just put a Band-Aid over everything. Oh, you need to eat at midnight. Here's a McDonald's. Oh, you're feeling this? Put a pill on it, you know, like, oh, there's side effects from that pill. Here's another pill. I'm
Yeah.
like, nobody, I just have to go. I'm gonna let it go. Like, I
Yep.
gotta let it
That's
go.
it.
Those who want to learn will learn. And those who, like,
That's
I
it.
even talk to people and I'm like, they'll tell me, you know, and I'm working on them. They'll tell me these problems they have, and they'll tell me all these medications they're taking for it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like let's just take a step back and just start eating differently. Like start eating differently. I don't say that to them because at that point I feel like once you're down that path, there's people who need those pills in their psyche. You know, it's like they need it. They don't want to hear anything natural.
Uh-oh.
They're like, nope, I'm do, and I'm like, well, the side effects from and what you're doing to your liver and oh,
They say
that
it
part.
takes too long. Natural takes too long. I
Oh
had
yeah,
someone tell me it takes too long.
and too much commitment. Like they don't want the commitment with it. You know, like I'm not saying, but I also know people who do yoga and eat perfect and blah blah blah, and then have cancer. So I have my Reese's
Yeah.
cups here and there, and I feel like, okay, I don't exercise at the gym like an hour a day every day. I try and stay busy, but I'm like, I just want enough to feel good, do okay. I probably could do a little bit more, but everybody's gonna die anyway. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
You do what you can do, and you don't beat
yeah,
yourself up for it, you
no,
know? Okay.
Yeah.
just some joy. And I think our emotional state and fixing all that junk on a cellular level is more vital for me than not than cutting out every single sugar and eating only this and making sure I'm at the gym for an hour a day or hour and a half, you know, and I'm not judging anybody who wants to do that. I just think for me, I like a little flow, let it, you know, like just let's heal the emotional stuff too. That'll
Right,
fix a lot of the physical stuff.
right, right. Okay, well, we've gone way over like a half an hour. So, is there anything else? Quickly, is there anything else that anybody wants to add or?
I gave you a break, so I was quiet. You're welcome.
But we miss you. I miss you, Jackie. I love you.
It's a running joke with Brenda and me, so I'll be
Oh.
quiet. She knows.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Jackie. All right, yes, Doreen, we'll talk about it after I stop the recording. Okay, well, so thank you again for being here tonight, and
Oh,
I hope
my
to
headphones
see
on.
you. I hope to see you in February, and I hope you all have a good night. And Wendy, I'm sorry you missed the first part, and I'll send out the recording so you
Okay.
get all that. Okay.
Yeah, I'll catch up and then I'll do the quiz. So no
Yeah.
worry.
I
Okay.
still have a ton of quizzes to do, so I'll be there when I do it. I'll do it when I do it.
I did want to talk to you another time about that adapter. I seen your email about the adapter, and I just had a couple of questions. I'm interested. So
Yeah, well, okay, well, I'll talk about it. And Doreen, I know you said you're having a problem. So I haven't, everybody's loved them. I mean, I had this one lady call me up and said, you know, how much she loved it. They're easy. You just slip them on your camera, but it's still your camera. So it acts as a magnifying glass to your camera. And so you slip it over, or not your camera, your cell phone. You slip it over your cell phone. You have to line it up with the lens, and then you have to come in close to the person. So you're entering that person's personal space. So if you're not comfortable with that, or they're not comfortable, you also may need to rest your hand or your finger. Like I used to, when I used to use a flashlight magnifying glass, I used to have to ask them, do you mind if I, touch you? Because I need to, and so I put my finger on their nose so that I could rest my hand. And so you may have to get permission from them to be able to do that. And so a lot of it has to do with your phone, and getting that good, so it's not blurry, being able to do that. So Doreen, what you said you're having trouble? What kind of trouble are you having?
It's very blurry.
Okay, so it's blurry for you. So
Yeah, and I'm right up close, like there.
okay, so you might have to try a few things, like maybe bring in some more light so you can see better, get in some more light, or fine tune it, make sure the lens on your camera, clean your lens on your camera, make sure it's really clean. It takes practice. It does. Some people get it right away. It's like boom, instant, really easy. They love it. I haven't had any returned. Huh?
Yeah, I use it all the time. Is it the smart lens you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, so I use it, Doreen. Now, did you remove the film off of the camera, the lens?
Yes.
Okay, because I didn't, and that's the reason why I asked. But even with that, I was taking good pictures. But I've taken lymphatic eyes, I've taken pictures of mixed biliary, but predominantly I take hematogenic eyes. And in doing so, I need another light. And you've got to get close, really close. Now, set your camera where you can have a word that can take out the picture, so that way you're not touching the screen and moving this. If you have a nice picture, you don't want to adjust it. You don't want to move where you get that blurry picture. So what I have, you can say smile, cheese, whatever it is. So that way the camera just automatically takes the picture when you have gotten a nice focused picture, eye. So that's what I do, and that has helped me a lot.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't think it's camera shake though. I'm quite sure it's
I'm
not.
not saying, yeah. I don't think it is either. I'm saying some tips. I'm just giving you some tips to go in and there to get better pictures. I'm sure you're doing it all right. This is what I had to do to get the good pictures. You really got to get close and get the side lighting.
Yeah, I'm definitely
Are you
close.
taking brown eyes, or are you taking blue eyes?
I've
Or
taken
both?
both. They're all. I've never taken a good picture yet.
Hmm.
Oh,
Really
nice.
just.
Hmm. Yeah, it should. And when you take a picture just with your camera without the adapter, is it still blurry?
No, if I take that adapter off, it's much clearer.
Really?
So there's something wrong with it. I
Is it,
think.
and you clean, but all it is like a magnifier. Did you clean the lens really good too?
Yeah.
On the
Yeah.
adapter?
Yes.
Do you have a case on your phone?
There is a case, but it doesn't go over top of the camera.
Right, you might have to take that case off, because I got an Apple phone and I have to take this off when I
Yes,
do.
I take the case off too, Yolanda.
Mm.
Yeah, because if you don't,
It would make a difference then, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
And
I
yeah.
I have to take my case off. I have a purple.
Yeah, the case is the problem. There you
I'll
go.
try that. Thank you.
big
Ta-da!
problem. Your hand has to be
I'll
set
try. Yeah.
with a brown eye. It's hard to see. So you gotta practice on some. I practice on my 32-year-old and my 27-year-old when she was here from Texas. So I've been trying to, she can master it. So when I go do something, she's gonna be in charge of this.
Let me know if that
Like
worked.
Take that
Okay,
case off, and yeah, I will, Brenda.
let me know.
Thank you all.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yolanda, if that works, you get a gold star.
I know, I hope so. Cause after that, I'm coming for you for the one that you have. That's my next goal.
Oh, the SD?
'Cause
Yeah, that's my baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cause
that'll work.
gonna get on my nerves.
The only place I did not take it to Croatia, and I really wanted to take it to Croatia because I wanted to get pictures of everybody in Croatia, but I had so much other stuff that I took to Croatia that I couldn't take it with me. But yeah, it goes everywhere with me. It'll go to San Diego with me as well next month. So yeah, I take it
I
everywhere.
want to know how you liked Croatia. I'm thinking of doing a bike trip over there.
Oh, go! I loved Croatia, but of course I had great company, and I had my own personal tour guides. You know, I had Ivana over there, and I stayed with her in her house, and met all her family, and you know they were all very nice to me. And then I met Eric up in Slovenia, and then we went into Italy, into Venice, and you know, so
Fantastic.
I had a lot of pampering, which was really nice. But it is beautiful. It was really beautiful, and you know, everybody that I met was very, very friendly, very, you know, the Europeans, just really friendly and very open. And yeah, it's go. Yes, go, definitely. I didn't want to come home, actually. I wanted to stay.
Interesting. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to go back. My husband didn't go with me, and I told him, I said, well, if I go back, I hope you'll come with me, you know, because there's a lot of things to see there that I didn't get to see. So, because I was only there for weeks for a specific reason. And so I'd like to go back, you know, to see, but bikes, oh, that would be amazing. We went down to the seaside, and just going through there, that whole area, the buildings, of course it was raining. So, but just you could go through there with the bikes. It would be amazing. It'd be like, you know, like James Bond, you know, the streets, they're really small, and, you know, they're racing around the street. It's kind of what I thought of when we were there. It's just those very small little European cars one car can go through at a time. And it's very, very old, very, very old. And it's just really, really beautiful, really pretty. Yeah.
What time of the year was it, Brenda?
I went in November, the end of November.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I'm looking at is a couple of companies that do the bike tours. One is Trek Travel and VLT, I think is the other one.
Yeah. Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
I'm scared to go by myself.
Yeah. Yeah. I went by myself. I went by
Sure.
myself. But I mean, like I said, when I got there,
Yeah,
I
you
knew
knew
somebody.
people there,
I,
but
I would not be comfortable going by myself if I didn't know somebody there.
yeah.
So, you know, but you know, even the whole process of going through, you know, customs, and, you know, the planes, and going through all the machines and everything, you know, and I don't speak French, and, you know, because I went through Paris. I went through the airport at Paris. And so I was just like following everybody else and watching everybody else, and I did what they did, you know. And so it was a great experience. I do it again tomorrow. Yeah. So
Thank you for that.
yeah. Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yep. Okay. I hope that you all have a really wonderful night and a great week. And I will hopefully hear from you. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the class.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Excellent job. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night,
Good night.
everybody.
Night all.
No, I don't.